good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to my channel. My name is Jasmina from Jasmina Brozovic Astrology. And today we're going to talk something very special. Many people of you were asking me, what is life coaching? What are people doing? How is this correlated with astrology? And I have a perfect guest today, Meaghan Wagner, my astro friend. Hi, Meaghan. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, good. Thank you for taking the time to do this. And the reason I have Meaghan on is I want to demystify a little bit of what life coaching is and how is this a great blend with astrology. And I had a reading with Meaghan as well. She helped reading. I had a consultation that she helped me also make some decisions on my business path. What route should I take and stuff like that. So that's very useful in that sense. Oh, are we going live on Instagram? I forgot to mention. Okay, probably we're gonna go. Yes, we are live on Instagram as well. So hello everybody there. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Tell me please, before we start diving into this interesting topic, introduce yourself a little bit. What are you doing? How did you come in touch with all of this?
Yeah. Hi. First of all, thank you so much for having me here. I'm so excited to just kind of be here, hanging out on our various live platforms. I'm so excited to just kind of be here and chatting about this today. So I'm Meaghan Wagner. I'm the goal guru. I'm a life coach and astrologer, and I'm full of just lots of big sister energy. It's just kind of my signature. Just to kind of give a general overview, I use life coaching and astrology to help people clarify their goals and actually really take steps to making their ideal lives real. Those things tend to be kind of written off as like dreams or hopes or wishes or things that are not possible. And I just really stand for the possibility that life can be fun and amazing and fantastic and doesn't have to be just fine. And that's really kind of the core of my practice.
Yeah, I agree. I agree, and I think it's excellent because sometimes we can be lost within our wishes and dreams and hopes, as you mentioned, and then we kind of need some clarity. What is the next step? Where should I? You get lost. Like, what am I supposed to do? So that's one of the things that I got from you. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I have a lot of a lot of core Earth energy, so I'm very step by step and methodic. But I also have a lot of fire energy, so I like moving things forward, and I like helping people move forward. And that all kind of came together in coaching after several careers. I actually kind of the speed run version. I worked at Penguin Random House book publishers. I worked at HBO in marketing. I've kind of done a whole bunch of different careers, and in each of them, I really found myself drawn to guiding people to where they wanted to go. I was helping my colleagues write up their job descriptions and campaign for titles bumps and raises and all of those kind of things that they had to negotiate. And I was working with my bosses to help them communicate out to our team. And I just found a lot of this like guidance energy. So in January of 2021, I started life coaching. And then I went into a program in 2024. I started in 2023. What are years? And I got my life certificate after 2020. All of the years blend together. I can't pull them apart. But I got my life coaching certification over a year-long program last year, and I just completed all of the certification requirements. So I'm now officially a certified life coach, and I blend all of that with astrology again, just to kind of like help people. Manifest in very real terms. Just like, what does it take?
Yeah, congratulations. First of all, that's amazing. I know it takes a lot of time and effort, to finish up something which you start. But, with this, as you said, you have a lot of earth and fire, which means, you have the motivation and the eagerness to have a result. So I love that combination. Yeah. Actually, it's very, very good. So life coaching, what is it actually about? So how would you describe it in just a couple of sentences, for people who don't know anything about it? What would that be?
Yeah, so I mean, the easiest terms for life coaching is that it's really just about forward-looking energy. It's really just about deciding where you want to be and making a plan to get there, and then having being the support to get to that place. Within life coaching, we tend to place ourselves kind of on the continuum of like therapy and consulting. So when I start like a new life coaching contract or appointment with someone, I'll often distinguish, therapy is past-based, it's healing-based. It's really important for that foundation for you to be able to move forward. That's not what I do. There's specialists who help you do that healing work. And consultants will tell you what to do. They'll be like, here's a map, here's how you get there. And life coaching is about being present to someone else as they discover that they have their own resources to make their dreams come true.
I know. Yeah, I know. During our consultation, you were like, I had to come up with all these solutions within myself, which is interesting, because it just, you pick those things, it prompts me to thinking, oh yeah, it is within me. Just, somebody needs to kind of guide you to ask the right questions, because you get lost and you just blah, blah, blah. And practical, give me dates. What do you expect by this date, by that date, which is amazing. I love that. That's very good. So how do you combine astrology with this? Do you ask your clients? I mean, how do even clients accept this? When you said, oh, I'm going to use your chart, and how is that going?
My clients actually are the ones that got me started doing this. Astrology was just kind of a fun pastime for a long time. And I would occasionally end sessions with my regular clients with just there's an eclipse happening, or watch out for Mercury retrograde, or just kind of little jokey kind of things. And I had my longest standing client was like, I want you to write a newsletter about this. I want to know about what you're thinking about the astrology all the time. And I started doing that. And then my clients actually started asking for me to use their birth charts in our sessions. And so I have all of their chart information. When I see something that kind of comes up and reminds me of them, I'll add it to our agenda for our newest meetings. But astrology and life coaching actually really meld very easily together, because they are both very forward facing, right? They are very much about what's coming up, what do I expect, how do I want to be as these energies are coming up, is kind of the core tenet of life coaching and astrology blended together. And it's all just about looking to the horizon and how can I be my best self every day when I come into the world.
Yeah, that's amazing. So you do one-on-ones. Do you have a group coaching, or do you do? So how does that work? If for example, if the company, like a team building thing, I don't know, I'm just thinking. So how would that work?
Yeah, so I actually do have a couple of, so in coaching, there's a distinction between team coaching and group coaching. Team coaching would be a service I kind of have to offer corporations, right? Where I bring the team together and we work on a session, or we work on a topic that impacts everybody. So I do have a team building, we can kind of do, I have a couple team building versions. And then group coaching, which I tend to have a little bit more publicly facing, because no company's going to come on and be like, I'm going to pick this team building thing a la carte. I tend to work with them one-on-one to set that up. Group coaching, I actually do a group session once a season, usually in April. So I'll probably have one in about 2 weeks, to help people plan the next 90 days. And group coaching is when a bunch of disparate people come together on the same topic that is important to them. So usually April, July, October, and January, I do kind of a 90-day set your vision kind of workshop.
Cardinal season. I like that. So you're cardinal season. I like that. So it's kind of a support group for the people who have the same goal or problem they want to resolve. Oh, I like that. So it's so the different professions, different industries, different everything, right?
Yep.
Doesn't matter. That's very interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really
and not to make a plug, but if you're a paid subscriber on my newsletter, you can get into those all year round.
Yeah, no, of course, I'm absolutely. You need to follow Meaghan and subscribe and everything. That's absolutely a must. So okay, so for example, I know. Okay, I have something because I went to consultation with you, but if you talk to a person. And you set a goal and they don't do the goal, so if they come back to you, so how do you approach that? Maybe astrology wasn't, or circumstances, or how would you blend those things? When they come back to you, this didn't work. So how do you deal with those situations?
I mean, they happen all the time. I haven't ever set a plan that goes exactly how I set it down on paper. So one of the base things is just setting the expectation with clients that things are going to change and it's okay. most of the work in this for me, it starts at the outset, when we set the goal, when we set the parameters of whatever project we're working on. Each milestone, I really encourage them to think of as a hypothesis, right? So I think that getting X thing will get me to Y point, and I'm going to go test it. Instead of like, I'm going to go do this thing, and if I don't, I'm a bad person. And I think taking some of the judgment out of it and making it more of a test case, one, leads to higher success rates. Like, people are more willing to do things when they don't feel like there's a chance of failing. When not doing it correctly or not doing it is just a data point, they are much more likely to just go do the thing. Procrastination often comes from perfectionism. But I mean, also, a lot of times if people aren't doing something, the question kind of then becomes like, well, is it important enough? Is it actually serving your goal? Is it aligned with where you want to be? Is it moving you in the direction you want to get to, or is it just what you feel like you should be doing?
So do people come to you just for, like, for example, for the work or business, or also for personal goals or relationships, or how to make more money, like a plan or something like that? Is that also a topic?
Yeah, I mean, all of the topics, like, the reason I've claimed the term life coach, I used to use career coach. I thought that sounded more businessy and serious. It was like driven, and that real Capricorn rising vibe came off of it. But I really kind of came to realize that, like, life coaching is important because all of these are pieces of your life, right? Like, your work, your business, how you care for yourself. Honestly, one of the biggest things I coach in is just daily self-care, is just the rituals that it takes to keep yourself not just cared for, but like happy. Like, taking routine and moving it to ritual is a really big thing that I work with people on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, it's interesting, when you go, you want to work out, you take a personal trainer to walk you through and coach you through your, let's say, a fitness journey. But then when it comes to life, people get resilient, like, a little bit, if you work for somebody as well, there's projects, every business has an agenda, a plan, a strategy, a budget, and you plan ahead. But when it comes to our own lives, we tend not to do it. So I was wondering, why do you think is that?
I mean, one, I think because we categorize it as work, and a lot of us are sick of working. One of the things I love about astrology, particularly about the zodiac and the houses, is like the distinction, that like 6th, 10th house distinction, right? Like, there's a difference between work and labor, and like your career and legacy. And I really think about that a lot. I think with planning, we tend to put it in the labor category in our heads. And I'm just a nerd who likes color-coded pens and Post-its. So the planning comes really naturally to me. And I really like to be able to put that to work for other people, because for a lot of people, it feels overwhelming. It feels like another task at the end of the day. Making time to set plans and goals can actually save you a ton of time and a ton of hassle, but it can be a really difficult investment to convince yourself of upfront. It's like putting money down on a house. It's like putting energy down on your life.
Yeah, and I find it's hard, sometimes hard with, even with clients when I talk to them, investing in themselves, like, putting actually money, because sometimes when you put money into something, then you're accountable for it, right? You kind of, yes, now I committed to something, because money makes you, to commit to something. But then you're ready to spend money on so many different things, but then you don't want to invest in yourself and how to make your life better. Just like sometimes people feel like they're giving up, and they don't want to. So I have a 9-house stellium. I'm really always enthusiastic and optimistic, and always want to give people hope and empower them and give them, enthusiasm to really enjoy their life and live their life to their full potential, So how do you motivate people to start? So what kind of, like, even astrologically speaking, what is the best timing for a person to get that inner motivation?
Yesterday is always the best day. Tomorrow will be fine too. There is no bad day to start. I enjoy picking days that feel like they're significant. Monday is going to be April 1st. I love when the month starts on a Monday. That's great. But Tuesday is just as good a day. Tuesday is Mars World. You can start something on a Tuesday, you know?
Yeah. I found that I don't want to start anything on Mondays, and I never encourage people to start, just because Monday is psychologically very hard to everybody, and it's a moon day. We're just emotional more. I just, I always tell people, if you want to do anything, start Wednesday, start Tuesday, Thursday, something random, not even weekend or Monday, just something random, and then if you just, it will come more naturally, because it's like a pressure. Okay, on Mondays, Monday, you have all this,
Yeah.
So I don't try to do anything on Mondays that makes pressure on me, just because I don't know, everything starts on Monday. You daycare, so you're going to work, there's like a new week, and all this stuff is another thing on me on Monday. No.
Yeah.
And so do you, like, for example, I'm very mercurial. I like to do things on Wednesdays, just because I feel that I'm more connected maybe on Wednesdays as a Mercury day. So do you also use those like lunar phases or days of the week or stuff like that to help people as well?
Yeah, I mean, it certainly depends what resonates with people. My personal schedule, I pick and choose dates that work. So I've kind of landed on Wednesday is my content writing day. And, I didn't do that intentionally, but when I realized it, I was like, haha, you will never have my Wednesdays again. It very much depends on the person. Some people get overwhelmed picking lunar cycles or following them. One of the common ones I actually really use with clients is we use their angular house new moons to set intentions. So they're still doing it 4 times a year, but they're starting off their rising sign rather than just picking any new moon that comes up or trying to keep up with all 12 new moons. Like, it just can get very overwhelming very quickly. So we'll be like, what's your personality intention, for the next 90 days? What's your home intention? What's your relationship intention? What's your career intention? And we kind of just go around the wheel.
Yeah. They still have to be open to work, right? So they have to open on work on themselves, and you can, when people know that I'm astrologer, they come to me like, oh, tell me, what's going to. I usually tell them I don't want to talk about it like this. I don't. It's not for me. It's not like a coffee talk, and we just tell me, and then want to prove you wrong or something. I take it very seriously. Like, I mean, for me, astrology is a very serious tool. And I don't want to take it lighthearted. So I understand, if you're not willing to make an effort to do some changes, I don't even want to spend time explaining what is possible. You know what I'm saying? Like, why? Like, it's also energy waste for me. Like, when you're ready, you'll come. So in that sense, client needs to be ready to make some changes, right? Needs to be open to the possibilities. So do you have clients coming just for life coaching, and then they realize you use astrology and they get or no?
No, even people who come in straight for just life coaching and don't necessarily catch all of the astrology messaging, because that is, probably the most recent 6 months of my business has been astrology focused. Even folks who come in just for life coaching usually have some interest in astrology. They want to know a little bit about their birth chart. They want to know a little bit about what it says. Googling stuff is a little overwhelming and kind of generic, and like being able to do something that's personalized is really important. It's actually why I started the like little astro coaching session I ran with you, is because I feel like connecting people's birth charts and identities with the goals that they're trying to set is a really powerful combination. And I've just kind of seen people drawn to it naturally, and just kind of created this container that speaks to that need.
Yeah, I love to have, when I have a client who actually wants to know a little bit more about their chart, they want to understand how this works, so I can teach them a little bit. I love those. Those are the best ones, to understanding your moon, or understand just one planet, or why is it like that, or what's happening. Yeah, that's interesting. So many people come when they're in a crisis, or they're they hit the rock bottom. So it's sometimes we can't help them just with astrology. They need an extra help with a therapy or something. So how do we approach that? Is it hard? I know I find it sometimes, difficult to kind of tell them, you might want to need a therapy or something. So how do you deal with those situations? They can be very sensitive.
Coaching is at its heart about partnership, and I really try to bring that into my astrology reading as well. And partnership is very much that thing that distinguishes coaching from consulting, right? I'm not telling you you need a therapist. I'm going to be here for you to see that for yourself. And that's not to say I don't refer people to therapists when therapy is needed, but the conversation then becomes like, where can therapy help you in this? Where, like, where does coaching have limitations? Where does astrology have limitations? And being able to just kind of help the client identify for themselves that therapy is actually the thing that they want in this situation and not coaching. And, obviously there are ethical bounds, like where, there have been folks who are like, I don't want a therapist, I want to keep doing this. And you're kind of like, nope, sorry. Like,
Yeah. I mean, I understand. It's also a situation, when people come to what I like the intake form before. I actually don't use it, but I'm going to implement it in my work now, just because it gives you a more clarity of what a client expects from the session. Because I feel that many people that I had contact with, come with a wrong impression. They feel that astrology or coaching will solve their problem, and then somebody's going to give them the solution. It doesn't work that way. So, it's about you getting more awareness and making proper decisions, not somebody else telling you what to do. So, people can be resilient of talking to you. You said it's a partnership, it's a dialogue. Actually asking the right question to the client can give them better answers and better insights in who they are, where to go, than just telling them what to do, right? It's just like raising a kid. It's the same thing, or whatever you do. Like, you don't want to, they need to come to their own, letting them to figure out. It's sometimes hard to watch, but it's necessary for progress and for growth. So that's how I would look at that. So what happens? Because I'm just curious, as a fellow astrologer, when people come with different expectations from you, like from they come and they don't want to actually talk. They just want to. You tell me. So what do you do in those situations? Do you even have those clients? Maybe you don't have those. I don't know. It's just me.
Yeah, I think both the intake form and my like you kind of experienced like my little PSA spiel at the beginning of all of our sessions. I distinguish coaching and consulting and therapy. The intake form is very clear and like self-driven. If you really don't have anything to answer in that, it's unlikely you're going to finish the signing up for a session. So those are kind of barriers to entry that kind of keep that situation kind of out. But like if somebody is booked a session and they don't want to answer questions, I'm happy to just sit there in silence and just kind of let them. I'm like, that's the question. You can answer it or not answer it, but I don't have anything. And sometimes I'll let them ask questions. It's very rare to have somebody who signs up for a session and is that belligerent. I have had one or two like practice clients that, like when I was doing my training, that could be really belligerent, but it's pretty rare for someone to get through the intake process and kind of be that way. But I find if somebody's kind of closed down, letting them ask a question helps kind of guide where we're going. And then I can kind of turn it into like, what do you see in that for yourself? And that kind of helps us like kind of open it up a little bit, because sometimes people are just not used to thinking about themselves that way. And it's a little bit more just like opening that door for them.
To be honest, I'm an astrologer, and when I still had a session with you, I was like, okay, really? That's a good question. Like, you probably think, because even, I think, you don't have time to think about yourself sometimes. You get rambled up and doing things and, just reflecting, like, even all these lunations, new moons, full moons, you miss something because you miss it. You can't, you sometimes need a guidance to get clarity. I really enjoyed that. So, I want to kind of wrap it up with the thought, why life astrology? How come it came into this time of history? Because it's a new, let's say, a new industry, a new way of working. Why do you think it came up now? What is happening in the human consciousness that we need coaches and life coaches? And how do you see the future of life coaching and astrology? So where do you see how the humanity will go with this? And where is the need? Why now? And where are we going?
I think we're at a point where people can actually start self-actualization that goes beyond someone else's map for you. I think we're really starting to make that on a larger scale. It's always, it's always been available to certain people of a certain amount of privilege. I would say there is a certain amount of privilege in being able to make space and time for that as well. Certainly, absolutely acknowledge that it takes privilege and security. But there's a lot more people with that privilege and security and access. And even for people without necessarily that same space, astrology and life coaching, the same like almost theology kind of behind them, the philosophy kind of behind them, it creates a kind of independence. It creates a kind of autonomy in writing your life forward, even when it feels like all of the systems are kind of stacked against you. And I think maybe that's kind of what it's coming up to. Like, again, I'm very, very Saturn ruled chart, but I really see this kind of moment as we have all of these structures. They're all here, and we're kind of at the point of like between structure and not structure, and like that dividing line between like order and chaos is like right on our doorstep. And I think astrology just kind of resonates with a lot of that. I think life coaching resonates with a lot of that.
I 100% agree. I think we are in a time of history when humanity is changing, and we as humans are taking our own power back, let's say, in one way or another. And the first thing I feel that we need to do as we are going with this is realizing our own strengths and powers within us, because through the centuries, through history, we were thought that we are, I don't want to go there, but there's religion and politics and and society and the way we were raised as humans from generation to generation. We were taught that just this is what you're supposed to do. Don't think these are your limitations. We kind of didn't even realize our own potential because we were limited by all this. Just not knowing and just following somebody else's steps because we were thought this is the way to do it. We didn't even think beyond that. And it's interesting that it needs there are always individuals that go and do something different, but it takes really a higher consciousness on a bigger scale, like a to come into our human consciousness that we are able to do it. So one by one. It doesn't come overnight, right? So it took years and years. I think we are on a bridge time where we are letting go of the old traditional systems that are not working and implementing new ones. I don't think we really know yet how the world will gonna look and where we're going in that sense. But I think this is the bridge time when we actually, with all these techniques that we're learning, astrology and life coaching, and we are trying to find what is the best way to be aware and to get our strengths. And there's no need to follow somebody else blindly anymore, just because of ignorance, and education and just information is more available these days, right? So that will help us. And just I don't know, I just feel that this is a very interesting time in history where this is happening in between two times. It's hard to explain, right? But if you go historically and see how many changes came, and I'm so looking forward to Uranus in Gemini and this Pluto in Aquarius and Neptune and Saturn moving into Aries energy. Like even this eclipse that it's coming up on the 8th is going to be this is a seed of a new thing. Like we are literally seeding. I know it's still dark. It's like a new moon phase. It's still dark, but I think generations that are coming in the next 2 generations are going to be really the ones who are going to make a huge difference for humanity. And I do have hope. I had many conversations with people. People say, "Oh, I don't have hope. Look at these wars and stuff." I feel that this is the last cleaning and cleansing. And as you were talking as well, we need to do individually with this, helping ourselves, getting power, thinking that we can do it, because many people just feel that, I can't do it. This is the system I live in. This is how it is. But learning these techniques, implementing them in our lives, the more people do it, the better chance of humanity to go forward. And I think it's happening. The generations that are coming,
it's
Yeah.
happening with our own, like with our own businesses, like these micro
Yeah.
businesses that we're running in coaching and astrology. These things that we're doing independently are taking people like us out of the traditional 9 to 5 workforce. It's a massive shift that's empowered because of individual choices.
Yeah, oh, it's exactly, and it's more and more it's coming to consciousness as a new reality. Even this pandemic that happened, I know it was hard for many people, isolation, but it made a huge change and impact on the work
Yep.
labor industry, which a lot
Yep.
many of us are working from home, or just thinking you don't have to commute, or
Yep.
it wastes resources for no reason.
Yep.
There's no reason, which we proved. It took this pandemic to actually prove that. But so in every bad thing is I always see a good thing.
Sure.
So
You're an optimist at heart.
I definitely my nine house Celia is there out there for sure. And as we talked about on my session, this is my job, to be enthusiastic astrologer and share enthusiasm. That's if you embrace it, it was funny that we talked about it anyway. So I'm embracing my enthusiastic nature,
Yeah.
and I want to spread enthusiasm in the world. Not everybody's going to accept it. It's not unrealistic. It's just
Mhm.
I feel that if more of us are going that way, it's going to be, as I said, collective consciousness. We're going to go
Yeah,
up in a new level.
definitely.
Anyway, okay, so I took this monologue at the end.
No
Please,
worries.
any final thoughts from you that you want to share with everybody about life coaching and astrology, please?
Everyone could use more magic in their lives. That's
Mm,
my tag. You could use more magic in your life.
I love that. That's absolutely true. Oh, I love it. And this is coming from a practical person, guys. So when a practical person tells you this, it means a lot. No, it
Mhm.
is. It just
It's
doesn't mean.
important.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so where can people find you? Tell me, please. And what do you have coming? I know this is a new
Yeah.
project that you just launched, so please tell everybody.
Yeah. So I do have these new, I'm calling them witches get stuff done one-on-ones. And they're a combination of astrology reading and life coaching session. You can find more about that on my newsletter, my blog, I guess, on Substack. It's thegoalguru.substack.com. Or you can find me at Instagram, the_goal_guru. That is pretty much me everywhere, is where I'm at. But that's the big project I'm working on this spring. There's all kinds of different subscriptions, all kind of like laid out on my site, so you can kind of see exactly what you can get. I have a couple digital download planners, all of that fun stuff, so you can do some self-coaching if you want with a little bit of astrology, if an actual session is out of your price range. So tons of options, lots of things. The Goal Guru. That's me.
Absolutely, I love it. I love it.
That's
The
me.
goal guru. I love it.
Yep.
Thank
Yeah,
you. Yeah.
practicality and spirituality right together.
Yes, I'm also, I have a tendency to be a practical astrologer in that sense. I love,
Yeah.
giving practical advice.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your time. For everybody who's watching, thank you for being here, or what you watch later. You can find me everywhere as www.jasminabrazovic. Astrology.com is my website, and I'm everywhere as Jasmina Brazovic. Just I'm using my name because there's other astrology stuff that I that I kind of I need to feel authentic, so I need to use my own name. It's just my sense of me. So I don't know if it makes sense or not, but it's important
Yeah.
that you feel comfortable with your how you appear in public as well.
Mhm.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Meaghan. Till next time, everybody. Good. Oh, there's Jasmine. Hi. Thank you. Okay, I'll show
Thank
before.
you guys.
Thank you for joining. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks.
It's always nice to have
Bye.
support from friends. I love it. Thank you to everybody.
Absolutely. Thanks. Bye.
Absolutely. Awesome. Thanks again. Bye, everybody.
Bye.